When my husband and I told the kids we were getting married, they were just kind of like, okay. They were only 4 and 6 at the time. They were excited to be the flower girl and ring bearer, but one of them said, "You can't be our stepmom. Stepmoms are mean." That was both endearing and a little sad because there aren't really examples of a kind stepmom for kids. That's one of the reasons I started this channel, The Not So Wicked Stepmother. If you're new here, I'm Deanna, a mom and a stepmom, and I love sharing some of what I've learned about parenting. In my experience, it is by no means one size fits all, but there are some themes that are pretty universal, and step-parenting has its own unique challenges. I offer ideas for how to modify parenting techniques and adjust your expectations to find more joy and deepen connections in your family. If that's something you're interested in, please subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. I also release content made just for kids that you can find in a playlist on my page. Today I'm discussing a more specific topic, planning your wedding as a stepmom. We recently celebrated our 5th year anniversary, which got me thinking about some of what we did differently as a blended family. I have some great ideas for how to include your children and create special family memories while still getting to enjoy the day as the bride and groom. Number 1, include them in the ceremony and in the planning. Talk to them. Our kids were the perfect ages to scatter petals and present the rings, but however it makes sense to do so, make them feel special. They can help choose what they'll be wearing that day or some of the music for the reception. Remember, when you're becoming a step-parent, you're not just choosing a partner, but a whole family. As much as you will get swept up in the romance and possibly overwhelm of the wedding, remember the little ones you're committing to as well. Make moments to be present with them and look for chances to connect. Right after our ceremony, my stepdaughter and I had a sweet moment where she played peekaboo with my veil. We could never have planned it, but it's still one of my favorite moments from the day. Number 2, enlist a relative or babysitter to help out with the kids so you and your husband can focus on your wedding. We chose to have a sitter on the clock. That way we knew who was getting them ready and keeping them safe, and our families could relax. Of course, their grandparents and other relatives helped out, but we knew who was in charge. I think it's important to have a plan and then be prepared for kids being kids. As my mother-in-law recently reminded me, my stepson did not get spaghetti sauce on his white shirt at dinner, but when I selected that meal for him, I understood it was a possibility. It was more important to me that he eat something he enjoyed than that his shirt stay clean. So I packed some extra clothes. My stepdaughter took off the beautiful white patent leather shoes she had selected and put on some red and white striped socks. Just roll with it and trust that the person you put in charge will intervene if anything truly disruptive happens on the day. Number 3, make the wedding kid-friendly. We encouraged our guests to bring their kids, kept the ceremony around 10 minutes, and got through the posed photos pretty quickly. I made goodie bags with coloring supplies, streamers, and bubbles. Ideally, your stepkids will not be the only kids there. I think weddings with kids are more fun anyway, although now that I'm a mom, I do totally understand why so many wedding guests choose to make it a date night. Do your best to get some kids there and set them up for success with crayons. They will pay you back by helping get the grown-ups on the dance floor. Number 4, don't sweat it if they're squirmy for photos. Getting dressed up and posing for pictures is hard for kids. Even if it feels like utter chaos, just keep smiling and trust that your photographer will catch a moment where everyone looks reasonably happy. That said, your best ones are likely to be candids anyway. Our photographer got some adorable moments of the kids, including the peekaboo with the veil and one of my stepson with the biggest grin on his face holding his dad's hand. A guest also got a picture of my stepdaughter watching our first dance with the red and white striped socks peeking out from under her big poofy chiffon dress. Those are the moments you'll truly cherish, so if there's not a frame-worthy family portrait, let it go. Number 5, consider delaying your honeymoon and maybe even taking a quick trip with the kids first. When we were planning our travel, we didn't want them to feel like we got married and immediately left. So we decided to do a little getaway with them and our honeymoon the following month. There is nothing wrong with enjoying your kid-free honeymoon, but if you can do something special with them first, it's a great way to start your marriage. I have a couple bonus tips that are not specific to stepmoms, but I would like to share. When I was engaged and started going dress shopping, a friend offered me some words of wisdom. She said to look at all the planning as part of the wedding. The day goes so fast, but if you consider all the moments and events leading up to it as part of the wedding, it changes how you look at it. It isn't just about finding a perfect dress. It's about getting to try on all these dresses and maybe being surprised which one you choose. The bridal shower and bachelorette party are part of the wedding. Visiting venues with your future spouse and imagining the day is part of it. There are all these little choices that can feel overwhelming, but if you consider the whole process as part of the wedding, it's honestly a lot more fun. My final tip is to read the book A Practical Wedding by Meg Keane, which I've linked below. The author cuts through all the noise of the trends and traditions brides can feel pressured by. She emphasizes focusing on how your wedding will feel as opposed to how it will look. I could not agree more. I loved planning the aesthetics, the flowers, all the details, but at the end of the day, that's not really what it's about. And by keeping that in perspective, you can prioritize which choices are the most important to you and really enjoy the day. I hope you found these tips today helpful. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you next week.